which is in district Latur, state Maharashtra, India, finds this opportunity of International E-Conference to welcome all honorable dignitaries and participants here at the virtual platform for the International E-Conference. The topic of today's International E-Conference is Machine Translation versus Human Translation. The college, Sri Kumar Swami College, Ausa, is affiliated to Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. The college undertakes number of innovative activities to boost and enrich knowledge of students, researchers, teachers, intellectuals, and academicians. The college is conducting all these innovative activities such as World Record Webinar Series, international conferences, and many other innovative activities. And these are going very successfully and without interruption. And it is due to the hard efforts of Honorable Principal Dr. M.M. Bedkar Sir, who is the chief organizer and chairperson of webinar series and international conferences. On behalf of organizing committee of International E-Conference, I welcome you, sir, as the chairperson for today's International E-Conference. Today, I feel immense pleasure to introduce the chief guest and keynote speaker, Honorable Gerta Hasaj Berisha ma'am from Pristina, Kosovo. The honorable keynote speaker is going to enlighten us on the topic, as I mentioned before, machine translation versus human translation. I also welcome organizing committee member Prashant Ughade sir for this international e-conference. And I know very well that all the participants and delegates who have joined this international e-conference from all over the globe are very eager to listen your keynote speech. So I do not want to spend much time, and I would like to welcome you, ma'am, for the keynote speech and presentation. Please, ma'am, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Greetings, everyone. I am thrilled to be here today. I would like to start by thanking you all for joining us on this presentation and show my gratitude for the invitation of being a keynote speaker. As for my educational background, I have finished my bachelor and master studies in the Department of English Language and Literature in the University of Pristina, Kosovo, and the study that I will be talking for today was also conducted in these premises. Today, I will be talking about the research paper done by me on the topic of machine translation versus human translation, as mentioned also previously. Firstly, I will walk you briefly through the history of translation, the reasons behind the study, how and where this study took place, and lastly, the results of the study. This research was conducted with the purpose of investigating the frequency of usage of machine translation among senior students of the University of Pristina. The latest development in different fields have brought with themselves tremendous advances in technology, thus replacing many operations that only humans were able to do back in the past. Therefore, the research attempted to investigate if machine translation is a useful tool and as such is decreasing the importance of human translators. For conducting this study, a quantitative method was used, a survey was conducted, and a questionnaire with 16 questions was distributed to 50 senior students in English Language and Literature department. So, ever since humans came to this world, the need for communication with each other came to existence. The birth of different languages helped in making possible the communication and understanding between people. Day after day, different new nations were created, the word grew, but also came closer, thus the contact between members of different language communities came to a start. However, these contacts would not come to be true if there would not be people who knew not only their own language, but also the language of the community with whom they were in cooperation. The existence of thousands of different languages made translation have an enormous role in helping people of different target languages be connected in their cultures, communities, and nations. Thus, based on these social functions, we can say that translation is considered to be as one of the oldest crafts of mankind. As such, this paper offers a brief but condensed overview towards the issue of how much technology has influenced translation through these following points: machine translation usage, machine translation practicality, and lastly, machine translation versus human translation. Now, people who did not speak a particular foreign language were looking for ways to overcome this so-called barrier without having the time to actually learn a foreign language. This is where different dictionaries started to be published in printed versions and later on in digitalized form. From here, together with the process of live translation, started evolving too. The last centuries, we know that they have brought a tremendous technological development and improvements that have displaced many words that us humans do. The progress of technology has evolved machines that, among others, also take place in translation. Machine translation, commonly known as MT, is defined as the translation from source language to the target language using computerized systems and with or without the human assistance. Without doubt, the last decade has brought the development of internet and the handiness of web-based translation resources, which have decisively influenced translation in general and the profession of a translator in particular, without excluding here the machine translation platforms such as, for example, one of the most used ones, Google Translate. The capability of translating different language, although very often with numerous mistakes, made the role of machines for translation even more substantial, thus resulting in their wide usage. The effect of online machine translation is especially highlighted on students. It is true that even if there are attempts by the teachers for the contrary, students seem to be widely using machine translation to support their work. Students seem actually to avoid the old technique of translation through print dictionaries while replacing it with different online translation programs that are provided for them nowadays. Among the reasons behind such behavior seem to be cost and time. As the most important ones. Machine translation is available for free, offering the chance of an automated translation in many different languages. In contrary, printed dictionaries are not offered for free and most commonly have very high prices. Simultaneously, they are very time-consuming due to their volume, thus making harder the research of a particular word. As for the methodology of the study, this study was initiated due to the lack of information for the usage of machine translation among the students of UP. In order to have a wide range of students' perceptions, a detailed questionnaire was designed, as mentioned beforehand, and distributed to the students. This study has involved the students that were currently in their last year of studies in the Department of English Language. And the reason behind this choice is that the students, until the last year of their studies, are expected to finish the translation subjects covered in the Department of English Language and Literature. This gives to the students the experience of being exposed to the job of a translator and the procedures that this job covers. This may, through this way, they will be able to show whether their experience counted in machine translation usage. Now, as a way to come up with answers like how important do students of University of Pristina find machine translation usage? Do students think that the development of machine translation is bringing efficient results? How much do the translations being done by machine translation correspond with the exact or precise translations? Why do students use it? And finally, what do the students themselves suggest for the current conditions refinement? And other questions of this sort. A quantitative method was used. The information was collected by 59 questionnaires that included 16 questions in total. The questionnaires were handed out to the students, some in the premises of the University of Pristina, the others were also done online. Now, in order to acquire the answers for the studies inquiries, the questionnaire comprised questions that were divided into 3 sections. The first section was focused on students' general knowledge about translation. The second section focuses on the frequency of the usage of machine translation, the types of online dictionaries, and some of machine translation characteristics. Whereas the third section asked for students' opinion towards the advantages and disadvantages of the usage of machine translation. Now, this research paper shows that the role that machine translation plays nowadays among students is highly important. The findings show that machine translation usage is a phenomenon that happens to be part of students' translation process by bringing sometimes fruitful results, actually. However, along with it goes the awareness for machine translation drawbacks and its lacks. Now, I would like to dig in the second part of the questions, which were of rating scale type. The questions started with one of the issues the study was dealing, actually, which is machine translation versus human translation. Question number 7 asked whether students thought that machine translation was better than human translations. The majority of respondents claimed they did not agree with the statement, while a very small number had a neutral attitude towards the subject. The next 2 questions were made in order to see if the advantages that were stated in other studies were reliable for students of University of Pristina as well. The question number 9 asked whether machine translation is less time consuming, where 37% of the students strongly agreed with it. Question number 11 asked students whether machine translation corresponds with the exact translation, and no one strongly agreed with it. This way showing the other side of the coin, the drawbacks that machine translation comprises. Afterwards, the students were asked whether machine translation is going to replace human translation. The answers covered a percentage for all of the options, actually, yet the largest number included the first 2 options of strongly disagree and disagree, likewise showing that students had no fear for their future as translators. From then on, the focus went on students' perceptions towards the advantages and disadvantages of the usage of machine translation, as well as their suggestion about machine translation. I will walk you through a little bit the advantages and disadvantages, and then the general ideas that the students had about using machine translation. So the fact that machine translation is being used, even though not quite often, by students has made this paper explore and ask different questions related to what benefits is actually machine translation bringing with its usage. Among the central reasons behind the usage of machine translation stands the first one, that is less time consuming. It's a crucial factor for translators, the time that they manage to finish their translations, especially if we're talking for very long texts. Machine translation comes as an aid when translators are in urgency, like the rate of machine translation is exponentially faster than that of human translation, thus making it as one of the major reasons behind the usage of machine translation. Like, we can take a very simple example, like write one word in Google Translate, you have thousands of results within the seconds and lots of synonyms, while searching for a word in a dictionary might take you like up to 15 minutes sometimes because of not being able to find the word. The second advantage of machine translation seems to be, again, the price. It's less costly. Along with the time saving goes the saving of money, of course. A translator, no matter one's experience, will most likely be in need for a dictionary by their side. Printed dictionaries are highly voluminous, thus making them also highly expensive and not offered free of charge. This constitutes a problem for translators, especially if they are still on their verge of being professionals. Here comes in help machine translation, which nowadays is offered for free. And despite the point that it is not perfect, the economic necessity makes us learn how to use it and how to improve it for our own benefits. Another advantage of machine translation is that of terminology. Like, machine translation can give different synonyms for a particular word translation. This makes possible for the translators to play with the words and find one that better suits the text, learn new words, and actually at the same time be more precise in their translation. Along with the advantages of machine translation, of course, we have the other side of the coin that are the disadvantages of it. Machine translation is simply not a point where one can create a perfectly accurate translation on regular basis. Accuracy is an issue when working with machine translation, thus bringing quite a lot of limitations for certain types of things to be translated. For example, if one wants to adapt a novel to another language, definitely a human translation team would be better off using rather than machine translation. Nevertheless, the usage of machine translation among students is quite present. My experience as a student myself and translator gives me different reasons behind this usage, but among them, the most crucial ones, as I mentioned, and I want to conclude, is time, cost, and technological development. The growth of technology has brought the world to a stage where seeing a person without an electronic device is extremely rare, almost like it doesn't happen to see a person without an electronic device. So having a phone, a laptop, or whatever kind of electronic device at disposal and not having an app for translation, whether translation is one's profession or not, is very hardly found. This has had an impact on the growth of machine translation usage. Alongside with it goes that also machine translation practicality, ease of usage, and ease of accessibility. All this thanks to the technological development. As has been noted, so basically this research paper has given the illustrations that machine translation has had its impact on the students of University of Pristina here in Kosovo as well. Nevertheless, students seem to be conscious of the benefits and the shortcomings that machine translation usage withholds. Among the benefits of machine translation is time saving, which is seen rather helpful in making possible for the students to meet the deadlines, as well as the saving of money, which for the majority of students is quite an issue, especially here in Kosovo. However, machine translation seems to withhold lags as well, where the major ones include machine translation's non-reliability and word-for-word translation. Equally important are the students' claim that machine translation should be used only sometimes for short and unambiguous sentences and not be dependent on it completely to create, but try to create a relation machine-human to gain a better translation. Given these points, students are not in doubt for their future as translators. They believe that machine translation is far from being sophisticated enough to replace human translation, and that such thing is not foreseen to happen, at least not in the near future. So this was all that I had prepared for my presentation. I thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer all of them.
Thank you so much, Honorable Gerta ma'am, for the wonderful explanation. Now it's time for interaction with the dear participants. Kindly you are requested, if you have any queries or would like to share something, please come ahead, dear participants.
Yes, please.
Jaivir Singh sir, please.
जी सभी को नमस्कार. नमस्ते मैडम. मैडम मेरा सवाल है कि एक मानक एक स्टैंडर्ड होता है लैंग्वेज का मशीन के अंदर, लेकिन जो क्षेत्रीय भाषाएं हैं उसमें मशीनें कहीं ना कहीं पीछे रह जाती हैं. इसका समाधान क्या हो सकता है?
Sir, please you repeat your question again. I will translate.
Yeah, thank you for your question, first of all. Actually, yes, machine translation is offering all kinds of translating. Actually, now with the newest development, they have also brought the way of translating by talking. We don't even need to write down what we want to translate. We only talk to the machine translation. In this case, it's Google Translation that has brought this new development. You say whatever you want to say. For example, in the Indian language, and maybe you want to translate it into Turkish, you can freely do that. It will say the words exactly what you want it to say in the Turkish language. So it includes all types of languages, and it's offered for free for everybody. So basically, it can be used in any language all around the world.
Good evening, one and all. And first of all, I would like to thank Gerta ma'am for the wonderful speech and her research on translation. This translation, of course, is a very challenging task for particular translators like me. I too myself have translated 3 books from different languages to regional languages, and from regional languages to English. Translation is something of more harder than writing a creative work. This is my personal experience. And secondly, if we want to translate a book from one language to another, maybe regional or an international language, but the fact is that it needs a lot of human judgment and your shrewdness, your understanding, and all these things are very important. Machine translation, of course, it can do the work by itself automatically. But the thing is, you have to analyze, you have to understand, you have to verify it. Because I too have done machine translation, and I used to laugh at those translations many times. Mm-hmm. Because technically, just it gives a synonyms of the same word without understanding the context. Machine cannot understand the context. Only a human being can understand the context. It can understand only the word. But context should be understood by the translator, whether how much ever the sophisticated machine may be, but the human role is most crucial. This is my personal experience. Thank you, one and all. It was a good interaction with you all. Bedkar sir, since many days I was seeing the seminar topics, but I could not understand all those topics. That's why I did not attend. Today I saw it was my topic, so I attended, and I'm extremely sorry for not attending. Thanks a lot for all organizers.
Thank you so much for your comments, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else from the participants?
सर रिसर्च साठी आपल्याला भाषा कोणती वापरावी लागेल सर मग अदर लँग्वेज साठी
You can do actually in English. It's basically in English. The whole research is in English, and here you can also use machine translation. Then, if you want to translate it to the Indian language to understand it better, but it's in English.
Now yes, Rahul Chitrakar sir would like to say something, please.
Hello, ma'am. Very wonderful presentation. But I want to the person who asked before me that he was asking actually, what about Creole and Pidgins? Here we say that after 12 miles, the language changes. If suppose there is the Marathi language, and it changes after 12 kilometers or miles, then how can the machine can translate these languages very fluently or correctly without the context?
Actually, it's a bit difficult when it comes to the context part. Like machine translation, it's highly imperfect. We can use machine translation, especially if we know and have a little bit of knowledge on the other language that we're talking about, basically. For basic communication, for basic stuff, machine translation can be used, like you can understand it somehow. But if it comes to more complex issues and more complex stuff, then machine translation lacks a lot of information. So for everyday usage, for basic work needs, maybe like not highly complicated ones, I would suggest to use machine translation. Definitely, it will help you. It will give you a hint if you don't have a translator near you. But other than that, if you have to discuss, especially business deals with the trade that you're dealing with, then definitely be careful on using machine translation.
Is that means that it only uses for the standard language or some emails or some kind of businesses? And we cannot use the machine language in day-to-day life or routine life, or for conversations which are not official.
You can use for daily language, definitely. You can use for daily communication. Actually, you can use machine translation for any part that you want, but my suggestion as a translator, myself, would be to use it for stuff that are not too complicated, for things that are easier, just so that you don't lose the context out of it. Like, I have had the chance when I was working with students and we were searching for a particular word, for example, to translate it from English to Albanian or vice versa. You have no idea how much machine translation lost it. Like, it gave a translation that were not even close to the word that we were looking for. So we have to be very careful on how to use machine translation. It is helpful, but not always.
So thank you so much, Honorable Jaivir Singh sir, Shukmar Pauche sir, and also Rahul Chitrakar sir. Yes, for your nice queries. and ma'am have answered it very clearly in a simple language. So thank you so much. Now I request the chief organizer, our ideal principal, and the chairperson of International League Conference, Honorable Dr. M. Bedkar sir, to conclude the session. Please, sir.
Thank you, Prashant sir, and today's resource person, keynote speaker, Greta madam. एक
Thank you.
minute, 1 minute. So today we listen from her about the machine translation and human translation. Both the things you said that machine language can be checked by the human, because for perfect message or perfect, I just before few minutes you are saying that in business communication there should be a perfect meaning of that, otherwise that bond will have a different meaning. So at that time we have to take care of all the particular words, because a machine cannot understand emotions. If you write something in emotional, machine cannot understand the emotional. So at the same time there was a letter from Maharashtra government that officers have translated in our local language, but that was complete different meaning. Letter was published by the government, and they have revoked after that when public was going to object on that. So everything machine can be translated with instruction of human, but human should understand what is the correct translated that things or not. You did a best practical research, because in literature review or all these things is, I think it is the passive research in any language, but for English language, for reaching towards the student, reaching to solve the problem of society, your research is practical research as like our science, and it definitely given so much output about the reliability of the machine translation and human translation. It was a new best topic, useful to all English researchers, those who are joined here. I am thankful to Paute sir, Javeer Singh sir, Sonu sir, and others, those who are joined. I will share this link to English teachers to know about the new topic for us. Thank you, ma'am. In future also, if you want to join here as a resource person on various topics you have, then you are always welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening.
Just wait for formal vote of thanks from our organizing committee, please.
One more time,
Thank
please.
you, sir.
Just 1 minute.
Just 1 minute, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. Sri Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya Avsa, District Latur in Maharashtra State is organized an international e-conference as well as the World Record Series 2. Today in International e-conference, the topic was machine translation versus human translation, which have been presented, delivered a nice lecture by Honorable Gerta Berisha ma'am. She covered all the aspects regarding the topic, what do you mean the machine translations and the human translation, the difference between machine translations and the human translations, as well as the benefits of machine translations, then the frequently uses of machine translations and human translations. So clearly. So I'm very, very thankful to you, ma'am. You have paid your valuable time to the series and explained the topic. It was new, but you have explained very well. So thank you so much on behalf of the organizing committee member. I also thanks the chief organizer, the chairperson of this International League Conference, Honorable Dr. M. Bedkar sir. I also thanks Javeer Singh sir, Shiv Kumar Paute sir, Rahul Chitrakar sir, and my friend Sonu Kumar sir for the nice discussion in the session. And I should not forget to all, thanks to all my dear participants, sweet participants. You have joined to the series, and that's why we are moving ahead to with this series. So thank you so much to you all once again. Kindly request, please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. With the kind permission of chief organizer, our ideal principal, Dr. M. Bedkar sir, I declare the session is over. Thank you so much once again, Gerta ma'am. Really, we were happy to listen you.
Thank you.
We'll come again and extend the new topic.
Please give a smiling pose so that I can publish on internet that linkage. Please smile.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant sir. Thank you, Bedkar sir. Yes.
सर फीडबॅक लिंक प्लीज पाठवा ना परत एकदा.
आप लोग का